Hello, fellow denizens of the internet. Welcome to the first installment of The Cost of Christianity. Costs of Christianity, plural. A series where we'll be looking at the major world issues that have been created and perpetuated by Christianity, and later to go on to explore some potential solutions. And while Christianity may be in this title, this almost definitely could have been called The Cost of Religion. I just couldn't think of an alliterative way to say that, and having spent many years as a Christian and having studied its history and literature extensively, I feel far more qualified to speak on it. Given that church attendance is waning and fewer Americans are professing adherence to the Christian faith, with the nothing in particulars being the fastest growing group of believers, now seems to be the ideal time to take a deep look at the products of Christianity and examine whether it serves as a legitimate basis for our social structure. That is to say, there are fewer people calling themselves Christians in the US, but as a byproduct of living in a Christian culture, even non-believers almost inevitably take part in upholding the values of the Christian faith. Christians have repeatedly called for Christianity to be made the official U.S. state religion, using the logic that the majority of American citizens are Christian, but that is precisely the problem. We do live in a Christian society. 1,500 years of Christian world domination have produced our modern culture and serves as a major component of the problems that come along with it. Christians don't recognize the U.S. as being Christian because it often doesn't match their individual brand of Christianity. Which brings us to our first major point. Christianity is inherently divisive. It's inherently divisive because every single Christian inevitably invents their own brand of Christianity. Many of those brands may be exceedingly similar, but no two are exactly alike. Just like every other holy book, the many authors who contributed to the Bible had perspectives that are often ambiguous or contradictory, and that leaves everyone to interpret those perspectives as they see fit. And Christianity has been divisive from the very beginning, a fact best pointed out by Jesus himself, seen here, when he said, "From now on, 5 in one household will be divided, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3. They will be divided father against son and son against father." That drive for division centers on the correct way to believe, and was evident in the relationship between Jesus' disciples and the Jews, between the disciples and Paul, and the offshoots of Christianity that have developed ever since. Every time someone deciphered the correct way to believe, others eventually found flaws in that approach, and quite often that resulted in the founding of yet another denomination. That fact was first demonstrated by Paul, seen here, who repeatedly and vehemently condemned those who believed differently than himself, dehumanizing them by calling them dogs and wishing that they mutilate themselves. Oddly enough, Paul directly contradicts Jesus on multiple points, like when he says that all who call on the name of the Lord will be saved, that Jesus was the end of the Jewish law, or that the Gentiles didn't need to convert to Judaism. It isn't a coincidence that the men who actually knew Jesus rejected Paul's teachings. Much like every Christian throughout history, Paul invented his own faith, one that conveniently matched what he already wanted to believe. Just to lay all the cards on the table, this video series is not an atheist production, and I am not an atheist. Like many people, I am inclined to believe in some sort of God, just not the one portrayed in the Christian Bible. However, all things considered, I don't think it really matters. Claiming that there definitely is a God is as equally pointless and foolish as claiming that there definitely isn't one. Living a blameless life is the ultimate goal, and any sort of God that is worth believing in will be fine with that. As mentioned in the introduction, this series is about finding solutions. Nothing I say here is meant solely for the purpose of being inflammatory, but in order to find those solutions, first we have to take a thorough look at the problems. Christianity does have some extremely valuable components, which is why it survived for so long and is by far the world's largest religion. Those valuable components are shared by other major world religions, and I do plan to examine those later in the series. We all have a stake in how this plays out, and I strongly encourage anyone with something productive to say to do so in the comments. The following episodes will examine Christianity's relationship with issues such as morality, violence, economics, education, individualism, and nihilism. Nihilism. I don't know why I said it like that. Much thanks for watching. Catch you next time.